All right, so everybody has a feedback form, correct? All right, so we'll let you guys introduce yourselves and take it away.
Alrighty, I'm Nate.
I'm Tom.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ryan.
And our group's idea is to have a 24-hour on-campus dining option. So a quick run through of our agenda. First, we're going to talk about our proposal and what it actually is. Then we'll move into the problem of the current system. Then we'll talk about some of the benefits and concerns of the proposal. And then we'll move into who's actually involved, who we have to reach out to on campus to make this happen. Then we will present some data that we collected on how the current system works and how students use it. After that, we will go into what some other colleges are doing currently to compare to the Elon. And then finally, we'll go through the steps that we would need to take to implement this on campus. So what is our proposal? Our proposal is to change the Winter Garden to 24 hours during the academic year. And this would basically be the refrigerators on the left, so the drinks and the cold sandwiches and wraps and such, as well as the snack foods and candies and Dippin' Dots and stuff like that that you could get. And this would also only require one checkout clerk to operate, so we'd be able to do it rather cheaply. So the problem with the current system is there is no on-campus dining options between the hours of 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. on the weekdays, and between the hours of 3 a.m. and 8 a.m. on the weekends. And this is inherently unsafe time for students to be driving on the road late at night. And generally the foods that they're seeking are very unhealthy, like Cookout and Waffle House.
Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits to our proposal that are pretty exciting. For starters, it gives students an option to stay on campus, which is more safe. And it gives students healthier alternatives to choose from compared to just junk food. Like there's going to be sandwiches offered and burritos and wraps. So not only is it better for students, but it's also better for the university too, because we can use our meal plans here, which saves students money, but also generates the university more money. And for students who have early morning activities on the weekends, either through various student organizations or work, or like athletes have early morning practices along with other club sports, there's no on-campus dining option that's open before 8. So that really limits the students' ability to eat breakfast, which is widely considered to be one of the most important meals of the day. So moving on, there's some steps involved with making this change. So for starters, we're going to have to work with food services. Primarily, we're going to need to secure funding for additional staff. And they get the food they serve in this place through a distributor. So they're going to increase their order because they're going to be selling more food. Secondly, campus police will be involved with this because they do patrol through Mosley at these hours. So they would have to adjust some of their schedules, but nothing too crazy. So we're trying to shoot for the next academic year to get this done. So there'd be plenty of time to accomplish this. And we also have to work with physical plant staff too, because they do a lot of work at Mosley during the early morning hours. And then we also have to launch a marketing campaign to make sure that the students are well aware of this change. So moving on, there's some potential concerns regarding our proposal that we think could be mitigated though. So for starters, safety, that's why we're reaching out to campus police. We want to ensure that students feel safe to go out at these hours. Demand, we did some research into this, but we wanted to make sure that students will be using the services at these hours to justify it financially. And lastly, is this option going to be not only good for students, but financially viable? So moving on to Ryan.
So who would be involved in this plan? Mike Bellafuel, Debbie Rogers, and Amy Shilcutt are the most important people. They are the people who will implement this plan, push it forward, and iron out any kinks in the system. Dennis Franks, the director of campus security and police, would need to be informed because they need to make changes to the security blocks because of the new hours for Winter Garden. Tom Flood, the director of physical plant, would need to be informed because people like janitorial staff who clean around that time would just need to know these new times and be able to work around it. Connie Book and John Dooley would need to be notified just to push the plan forward and make sure, particularly John Dooley, that students know about this. That's the most important thing because currently it's not open, and if that change happens, students need to know about that. So to make sure that students would actually be interested in this, we took data from Qdoba of times of how many people are using this at late nights. Now, Qdoba is the latest dining option open for students, and as you can see, it is being used a lot, and a lot of people are taking advantage of this late dining option on campus. But what makes these numbers interesting is why they are high. It's in Danieli, which is sort of the corner of campus. With our proposal, it happens in Winter Garden, which is around the middle of campus. So we expect a lot more people to use it if we put it in there, the middle of campus. And so we looked to peers and other colleges, and specifically private colleges. And Duke University has two 24-hour dining options, McDonald's and Cafe Edens. And we were wondering whether people actually used it, so we interviewed a Duke student, and she said that we never leave campus for late night meals because it's easier and cheaper to stay on campus and use our meal plans. That's one thing. It's just convenient. I think a big thing with late night meals is convenience. So it's just a lot more convenient to stay on campus, and also just safety-wise, Durham is scary at night, so it's better to stay on campus.
Financial analysis, it would only take a single employee being paid around $9 an hour to man the new shifts, meaning that it's only going to be around $380 a week to be able to keep the new operational hours open, making it so only one or two larger groups would have to come through each night in order to be able to break even. We would need to email the relevant staff to be able to make sure that these things can happen. We would contact the food service company to be able to increase our supply in order to not run out through these new operational hours. And we would enact a staff scheduling change to be able to make sure that we had people there to open things up. We hope that you support our proposal, and we appreciate you listening. Thank you. And we have to open up for questions and answers now.
Okay, questions?
The data from Qdoba, is that data like that was sent out from a survey, or like data actually from Qdoba?
We actually sat outside in Dan Comms and just counted. So.
I love it. Great. What other questions? Comments that you might have, Will? You were nodding affirmatively on this.
Yeah, so like, what 24-hour like dining would we add? Would we add like food or snacks?
It was just the refrigerators that were already there, we were allowed to keep open earlier.
Do we add more options to it?
The reps. This plan as is was what they currently are, but, yeah. Any
So
other
no
questions?
sushi? No sushi that we sent?
There is sushi there.
There is sushi, wraps,
Yeah, sushi
sandwiches.
wraps, the things that they have.
Juice, some coffee.
What other questions?
Who we want to work with, like, how many workers do y'all have, and who we want to work with 8 hours?
We mentioned it was one, and the way that these usually work is you take the normal staff schedule and you alternate where, like week one, someone would have to do it, and the next someone else would have to do it, and someone else would have to do it. So one person is stuck working red eye the entire process.
One or two more questions? Mary Claire, what about you? Does it appeal to you at all?
Yes, it does. I just don't have questions.
Great.
Did you guys like go to Duke and find a guy to interview, or you already knew someone who went to school there?
No, I interviewed my sister. Who just
Okay.
did. Yeah, and she was always saying how they never go to Cookout. She's never been to Cookout, which really surprised me. Yeah.
For
But she
shame,
was
for
going there.
shame.
And I was like, how? You go to college? And she was like, well, we never go off campus.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What other questions? My question was about the data very detailed data from Qdoba, so impressive that you spent that time. Hopefully you got something to eat while you're there. Okay, so we're still in feedback mode, guys. Okay, so what other things, since you're finished, we'll give you your applause, and we'll let you take a breath and return to your seats, but fill out those feedback forms, and I'd like to hear from all you what they did well, what they might have improved on, if anything. So, Well, what did they do well? Oh, I got you right when you, okay, I'll come back to you. Who wants to start? Yes, Riley?
I liked how they put different colors for like their main points in the bullet points, cause it was like, you could see what they were trying to emphasize.
Yeah, that was a nice technique that you used, right? And then, some of the slides you even enlarged the font. You didn't do it everywhere. So what you wanna do, is be consistent with that. So see how you have a larger size font here in color? Do that throughout. So before you submit it, be consistent, because that really pops. See the difference from the audience's point of view? You're telling me what to pay attention to, right? What else did they do well, Marjorie?
With every point they made, they had like specific data, like backing everything up, so like it wasn't just like something that they like pulled out of the
Right. Everything's evidence-based. Remember, going back to the first day of class, business writing is front-loaded and evidence-based. So you want to make sure you always have those facts, those figures, and that support. Even if you've gone out to gather it yourself, or you have anecdotal evidence, right? It was your sister that you interviewed from Duke. Great use of your resources in your network. What other things did they do well? Yes.
You know, I mentioned like
Jane.
the unsafe like hours of driving like late at night. It would give like the school more of the incentives to make a change.
Yeah, it wasn't just about cost, it wasn't just about giving more food, will you? It made sense, right? You took it from the audience's point of view. How would they be persuaded? And that's what this whole exercise really was about. What else? What else did it do well? Susanna?
Voice is very like.
Yes, I heard energy, very eye contact, right? Really good. You'll see it on the video, how it pops. It comes across really nicely. So great job on that. What else did they do well? Well, I said I'd come back to you, so here I am.
Yeah, but Margie took.
Oh, come up with something else. What else did you write on what they did well? Anything?
They use a lot of statistics to back up their.
A lot of statistics, right? A lot of data. Yes, sorry.
They all started and spoke without reading off the slide. They spoke like they really knew their knowledge, their stuff, and they rehearsed a couple times.
I circled the word teamwork because you guys really nailed it. So, there might be some putzing around it, you might see on the video with the clicker. It's such a tiny minor thing, you wouldn't even notice it, right? So everything else, with no reading off the slides, how you rehearse. How many times did you rehearse out of curiosity?
We rehearsed a couple of times. We really wanted to be confident with how we were going to be able to perform.
Okay. It makes a difference, right? When people take that time, it shows respect for the audience, respect for themselves, and certainly it reflects in the grade that you receive. Anything they might have done differently?
Oh, they did good.
You did good. You did good. That's really specific feedback. So what did they do good? One more thing, Will. Pump them up. We want to leave on a high note. Come on. You can do it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll pick on Joanna instead.
I said they discussed like the concerns, well, like they knew like what the problems would be if they actually implemented like data for school.
One thing I would suggest as an improvement, having one person in the middle of the night working anywhere is never safe. So add that to 2. It's a minor cost anyway, but you don't want to leave somebody, stranded out in their own with potential for something wrong to happen. Anything else that they might have done differently? All right, well, we're going to share some love. Okay. Celebrate it. I'm going to take your feedback sheets from you, and you guys came back and I'll give them to you. Any comments that I made from this minor, make them Does anybody have any comments or questions about your grade?
Everybody else.
I would say. If I don't, you just go to it's always good to do it in action.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, all of you. Thank you.
Existence, I guess.
Yeah, so you're
Thank you.
That's a great way of putting it.
We've got a little bit of a big meeting today on campus about our vote for unionization.
Oh, yeah, Pat Bell talked about it earlier.
Yeah? Oh, really? What did he say?
He was talking about how he's against it, because he's not on tenure and is on a tenure track, but he doesn't want to be out in school with a group of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
Thank you, sorry. So I have everybody's feedback, and I'll wait for you guys to finish your feedback, tell me what you're talking about. Okay, I'll come back. If you have any questions about, the grade or anything like that, do not wait until your grid's posted in on track in 2 weeks. Talk to me now or next week before everything's solidified. Yes, sir.
Is it still too late to send an email?
For what?
For if it was the, executive summary?
Did you submit it already?
I never submitted,
You may do it, but, it really should be in,
Yeah.
so can you do it by, say, tomorrow?
I think so, but do you still have the corrections?
Why would I have them? I gave them to you.
Yeah.
So,
That's how it is.
okay, so look on OneDrive and see if I shared them with you, or
Okay.
if I hand wrote them, which I probably
I
did.
think it was good.
Yeah.
I
So-
think someone took a picture of it. Picture of it, so I did it too. But you never gave it to me, so.
Who did you do it with? Thank you.
Shane.
Jake. Well, ask him if he has the copy. You certainly can't
Good job.
submit the same version that he did as we do, but I'm sure he'll be more than happy to. Okay, so, you know, I'll give you the Sunday night. All right, so we got reading days, hopefully today.
Yeah.
We'll get it done.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually went to give you, it was like a present.
Oh, I love presents. Can I go, I'll do this and I'll come
I
back?
don't know, you get too excited, but like it's pretty cute.
Oh, please, any little thing will pick me up. All right.
I'm so excited. I think she'll like it. Yeah, she'll like it.
What was the present?
She felt like it.
Yeah, she's good.
I know, yeah, she really thinks she's gonna get something. Well, if you're really bad, you can bring us a drink.
Gotta go to Amazon and order some real quick.
Yeah.
I know shit, I need chocolate bars from this.
Run the fucking D-Nades. Here's my computer. Yeah, that actually was surprisingly well.
Yeah, you guys killed it, like for real.
Yeah, we spent so much time preparing.
Okay, I mean, who actually started over then? Like,
No.
oh, brilliant. That was great, you really sold it.
Yeah.
You just make it look this.
Yeah.
That is so good. That is like really good. It was really, really good.
Am I recording?
I wanna get it.
Well, you're at it, just delete
Let's get one of you.
It actually is.
Recorded.
There's no way she'd watch all this blank stuff.
She's not, she only put it on there for us to
She's
watch.
still